All right. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Mike Iscovitz, Chief Meteorologist Mike Iscovitz. Thanks for joining me for Mondays with Mike. My pleasure to welcome you each week here to either Facebook or YouTube or fox26houston.com. So here's the agenda. Here's the agenda for the day today. Okay, I'm going to share the agenda with you, and I think you'll find it hopefully interesting. So on the agenda today, number one is Texans tie. Come on, man. That's going to be a minor rant, short-term rant. Topic number two is Jameis Winston, my favorite player, the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. I told you I'm on the Saints bandwagon this year. Anyway, we're going to talk about his amazing anatomy lesson that he taught the world last week. Also, in science news, NASA is set to slam into an asteroid. We also have California and Arizona with some tropical trouble, which is strange, and a Florida snake chooses the wrong prey. So the first thing that I want to say is that, look, I'm not going to go on and on about this, but the Texans were winning over their division rival, the Indianapolis Colts, 20-3. Okay, they were winning 20-3. The Colts are a pretty tough opponent. They have a great coach in Frank Reich, and they have a new quarterback who's had a very, very nice career in Matt Ryan. And they're winning 20-3, and slowly but surely the Colts come back. They tie it up. They go to overtime, and then what happens? I am going to quote for you. Wait, hold on a second, because I got to find it. Hold on. I got to find it for you. This just occurred to me because this is what you need to hear. Okay. And it comes from Herman Edwards. All right. Let's see if I could find a good, here we go. All right. Okay. I'm going to share the screen with you because you need to hear this. Okay. Are you ready? This is my message for the Houston Texans. Share screen. Okay, are you ready? You ready for this? Let me turn it up nice and loud.
They're going to do that. They're going to be a pro. That's part of the deal. Everyone here is going to be that. Now, if they don't do that, then that's coaches, players, management, anybody. If they don't do that, then they need to go somewhere else. You bristling up? Or just make sure you're not. Because I can bristle up too now. I mean, you ask a question like that, and I'm trying to give you
so he's getting angry.
Think about quitting.
Okay.
Not an option.
Wait, I got to fast forward to the best part.
About sports. You
here we go.
In the game.
Here we go. Are you ready? Here we go.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters. This whole conversation bothers me.
All right, so there we go. The great Herman Edwards, defensive back for the Eagles, great coach for the Jets. You play to win the game. Hello. So anyway, that's look, I love Lovie Smith. You know, we all love Lovie Smith. He's a good guy, really good dude, good coach, but you play to win the game. Play for the tie. Okay. Enough of a rant. All right, now I want to transition to Jameis Winston, who, you know, I'm on the Saints bandwagon this year. I've made that very clear. So I would like to share with you here my man Jameis, who, by the way, we went to the same school, Florida State University, where he won us a national championship. Of course, he is far younger than I am. But this is, listen to his lesson on anatomy. And I bet you never thought about this. You ready?
I need to work my ankles. And
Wait, hold on.
we're all like this. Our body is so symmetrical, right? You got your wrists, you know, and then what are your wrists on the bottom half? Your ankles, you know, you got your shoulders up top. What are your shoulders? Your hips, you know what I'm saying? You got your elbows. What are your elbows? Your knees, right? Like, so it's symmetrical and you just got to work different parts.
See, that's the thing. See, this is what we get from a Florida State University education. Now, I'm all in all seriousness. Jameis is right. You got your elbows. I mean, you got your wrists, right? And what you got your ankles. Okay. You got your shoulders. And it's the same thing as the hips. You got your elbows, which are the same thing as your knees. So he knows what time it is. Okay. He knows. And so I'm great. I'm very proud of the fact that they won yesterday. I'm very happy about that. So yes, I'm on the Saints bandwagon this year, and I have chosen Jameis Winston to be the MVP. Now, I was going to bet $100 on that because his odds of winning the MVP are 80-1. And so I thought I bet $100 and I'll win $8,000 if he gets the MVP. Nate Griffin said, no, don't do that. And then Dave Morales, you know, our movie reviewer and friend, he said, why don't you just give me the $100 because it's about as valuable. And I was like, stop. Jameis is going to get the MVP, or if not, he'll get very close. So tell me what you think. Please write in the comments what you think. All right, let's talk about science news. Okay, well, obviously that anatomy lesson was science news, but let's move on to science news. Okay, there has been a concern, as you probably know, that, you know, what would happen if the Earth were threatened by an asteroid? What if a large asteroid was heading toward Earth? What would we do? I mean, they've made movies about it, right? Most famously, Armageddon with Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck. And of course, in Armageddon, they didn't know what to do. So they in a bizarre scenario, they found these, demolition guys or like construction guys or whatever. And they sent them in a rocket ship to go land on the asteroid, which is ridiculous. And then they blew up the asteroid. And the whole thing was absurd. So NASA, what they're doing is they have a spacecraft that is called DART, and that stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test. So what they're trying to do is they have found a target asteroid, which is called Dimorphos, and it's in a binary system with this other one called Didymos. And they do orbit around each other. You know, it's amazing to think asteroids actually have enough gravity, you know, to orbit around each other. Didymos is the larger of the two asteroids. Dimorphos is approximately 500 feet across. And you think, well, gosh, it doesn't sound that big, but it's an enormous rock, you know, that's 500 feet across. I mean, we're talking about, I looked up, I said, well, what do these things weigh? Okay. So, or you know, what is the mass of these storms? And I did look it up, and where is it? It was something on the order of, you know, many millions of tons. Wait, hold on a second. I did look this up. I know that the spacecraft that they're flying into it weighs only 1,260 pounds. That's the DART spacecraft. And it is going to be slamming into the asteroid at, get this, 14,000 miles an hour. So very fast, obviously not anywhere near the speed of light or anything like that, but 14,400 miles per hour. And it is definitely going to be probably no match for such a giant asteroid. I mean, 500 miles across, millions and millions of tons. But what NASA wants to do is they want to find out if they slam this spacecraft into it, what will it do? I mean, this is the first of many experiments that's going to have to be done. And this was launched, by the way, on a SpaceX rocket, a Falcon 9 rocket, which took off last year. It launched last fall from California, and with the intention of finding out, you know, do we stand a chance against deflecting one of these things? And if we do, how big would the spacecraft have to be? How fast would we have to hit it, you know, with the spacecraft? And then not just that, but we're trying this out on a relatively small asteroid at this point. Is this going to transfer enough momentum to move something that was a much larger asteroid? I mean, these are all things that we have to face, you know, if we had a real crisis of an existential crisis, you know. Could NASA, could the European Space Agency, could the world come together? Do we have the tools to redirect an asteroid that was threatening Earth? Now, just to be clear, this asteroid system is not threatening Earth. It's very far away. Something like 3 astronomical units away. So we're talking about, like, you know, give or take about 300 million miles. So it's very far away, and it's not threatening the Earth right now, but we're going to find out. The impact is taking place on September the 26th. Okay, so we got to watch this. We have about 2 weeks, I think 2 weeks from today, actually, 2 weeks from this Monday. We're going to have at about 7 p.m. local time, 6 or 7 p.m., they're going to slam this thing into the asteroid. So we will see what happens. I mean, isn't that awesome? I mean, that's like, that is some really cool stuff. All right, next on the agenda. Okay, so we talked about NASA slamming into an asteroid. Tropical trouble for California. So California does not get hit by hurricanes, at least none that I've ever heard of. Sometimes, though, they can get some outer rain bands of tropical storms that move up from Mexico that most of the time are weakening. So this is a look at some video. This is from our sister station, Good Day LA. So this is Fox 11 in Los Angeles. And they're talking about some of the damage from high winds. So, and obviously this is a huge story, you know, in California. Here, I'll let you listen.
This started out with a report of LA City Fire responding to wires down in that area. Firefighters showed up only to discover there was more to the story. The total damage to the minivan is still unclear. So
a minivan was damaged. They also had down power lines. I mean, it was a thing. It was definitely a thing. So this was Tropical Storm K. So it hit, it actually didn't hit land. It kind of deflected off of the west coast of Mexico. And it brought some rain bands to California and to Arizona. There was flooding in Arizona. Phoenix itself only received relatively light rain from what I saw, but some of the communities outside of Phoenix, and then even heading into Southern California, like not Los Angeles proper, but some of the inland locations received like 4 inches of rain, came down in a short amount of time, caused flash flooding. And it was really a big deal. And it came from the remnants of a tropical storm, which once was a hurricane. And that does not happen that often in California or in Arizona. But in this case, it was a little bit of a curiosity, to say the least. All right, so the last thing on the agenda is Florida snake chooses the wrong prey. So, you know, we talk about Florida man, right? Like Florida man always does something bizarre. Well, what about Florida snake? Let me show you. All right. This is disturbing. Take a look at this. So this is called the rim rock crowned snake, and it is a endangered species in Florida. And now, with very few of these snakes left, this becomes even more unfortunate because he decided to try and eat a giant centipede. I mean, could you think of a more uncomfortable thing to swallow than a giant centipede, even if you're a snake? So So anyway, here it is, a visitor to a state park in Key Largo, which, by the way, if you don't know Key Largo, that's south of Miami. It's like the entry to the Keys. It's the very top of the Florida Keys. It's beautiful. And but it's rustic. And so you can see wildlife there and stuff. So anyway, this is the rimrock crowned snake, the rarest snake in North America. Scientists hadn't seen one in more than 4 years, but one of them turned up in a state park in Florida. And unfortunately, it was dead because it had died choking on a giant centipede that was approximately 1/3 the size of the snake. Yeah. So anyway, I hope that doesn't give you nightmares. But that's your science news update. So we've talked about the snake. Lesson learned for all snakes: don't try to eat giant centipedes or millipedes for that matter. We talked about the really rare tropical storm hitting Southern California and Arizona. We talked about NASA 2 weeks from today slamming a spacecraft into an asteroid. We talked about the fact that I'm on the Saints bandwagon this year, and Jameis Winston is going to be the MVP, and he gave us an anatomy lesson, which was fantastic. And you play to win the game. Let's take another. Let's hear that from Herman Edwards again, because I think this needs to set in. Okay, here we go. This needs to set in. I want everybody to listen very closely, especially everybody with the Texans.
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game.
And I'll leave you with that. You play to win the game. Okay. Hey, thanks for joining me for Mondays with Mike. I know it was kind of a weird one today, I know. But I had busy. I'm very, very busy, and I had a lot going on. But I saw the snake story, and I said, oh, man, I got to share that. And then when I came across the NASA story and the fact that it's coming up in 2 weeks, I thought that was just phenomenal. So anyway, thanks for joining me today for Mondays with Mike. Join me next week, because next week is a big one. I'm going to be joining you with our new meteorologist, Remisha Shade. She's going to be starting next Monday. And so she'll be joining me for the webcast right here on Mondays with Mike. So I hope you will join us. Hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, and don't eat any centipedes.